Now, here's what a young man would do. He would learn in silence with all submission to authority. So the Apostle Paul here just is saying that women need to do that too. The Apostle Paul is preparing the women for the role in the New Testament church, helping them to understand to be careful not to rush into or desire authority until it is time. This is what he meant in verse 13 and 14. Eve was deceived, but Adam was not. Do you understand that Adam knew what he was doing and sinned outright? Eve, however, did not, and I am convinced that Adam could have saved her if he had sinned. Look, bottom line is this. Eve was deceived, but Adam was not. That means Adam knew exactly what he was doing. That means he outright just sinned and gave up the keys to the kingdom right to the devil. All right? Who's the more... Don't you hear this? Men use this to say how bad women are. You're not catching it here. Adam is the jerk here, not Eve. Eve was deceived. And let's just put that into context for a minute. That was the right hand of God talking to her. You remember the devil? He was the archangel Lucifer. He was the right hand of God in heaven. Eve had no reason. He didn't come with a pitchfork and a forked tail and horns. She had no reason not to listen to him. I don't think it was inside a snake either. I think it meant Satan, the serpent, Satan. Satan showed up. Satan showed up and spoke to her. The right hand of God, an archangel, showed up in the Garden of Eden and spoke to her. And she was deceived by it. She had no reason not to listen to him. She had no reason to believe he was lying to her. She had no reason whatsoever to believe that this right hand of God was not telling her what she needed to know. So she was deceived, innocent. That's no different than a child being lured by an older person. That's why we have the laws against sexual contact between an older person and a younger person, because that younger person isn't going to understand. They'll be deceived into doing something. That's pedophilia. That is no different. That is what happened with Eve. She had no clue, but Adam did. That's what the Apostle Paul here is pointing out. Adam had a clue. See, we've been reading it backwards because of our English language and the way our society has been and the culture has been through so much centuries, that we read this backwards than what the Apostle Paul originally meant it to be. Adam really blew it. Eve was deceived. Now, if Adam hadn't blown it, he could have saved Eve. I'm absolutely convinced of it. Because as far as the law of kinsman redeemer is concerned, that's why Jesus could do what he did, because he became a human to be our kinsman. So the law of kinsman redeemer is what took place here. And if Adam hadn't sinned, he would have stayed pure, and then he could have been her kinsman redeemer and saved her from that deception. Don't get me on my soapbox. I'll set you straight. The Bible's very clear here, and we have been misinterpreting the Apostle Paul for many years.